All right, y'all. Shalom. We about to get started. All right. Let's do it. Let me make sure this shit's still going. All right. How's your voice doing? Mine is already pretty much shot. I think I was starting to get sick. There we go. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and sign in. I like to say Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That means all praises be unto the Most High God. In the name of His Son Yahweh Shai, we are Sakari San Antonio, and we are out here to bring another lesson to the wayward sheep of Israel, to bid them to repentance, to return unto their God and keep the commandments. Right? Today's lesson is themed, Who Are You, Jake? One of the things that we constantly have to wade through in this world is the mystery of who we are, as we encounter things that resonate with us, although for reasons we might not be familiar with. Why are we drawn to things like Marvel Comics, Dragon Ball Z? Why are we drawn to all these movies where they portray white people in the best and most heroic light possible? And meanwhile, they denigrate us. They show us as sacrificial lambs who throw themselves on the sword, all to preserve white folks at the first sign of trouble. But yet we love these things. Why? So we're going to go ahead and go into this lesson today, and I'm going to show that all the heroes that you love in these movies, whether they be fictional or real, most of them are based off of who you really are, Jake. And your ignorance is how your enemies have come to put themselves on a pedestal comprised of lies. Right? Can somebody grab me Deuteronomy 30 and 1 through 7? Because we're going to start with the prophecy that was given to our people in the wilderness. Right? The Most High God made it known that we would not only go into slavery, but we would also be redeemed out of slavery and brought back to our land. Get it what you got.
It's Deuteronomy 30, verse 1.
Bring it out.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, where the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God has scattered thee.
And that's what we're starting to see. Our captivity is accomplished, right? Here in the northern American hemisphere, I'll say that, right? For the last 500 years, both Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom have been in slavery. From the time in 1642, when Columbus sailed the ocean blue and came over here and brought all types of smallpox and disease and started killing Northern Kingdom, all the way up until, well, the final expulsion of the Moors in 1619, when you had Judah being thrown out of power in Europe and being relegated to the slave coast of Africa, later to be taken over to the Americas. From those times all the way to the present, we have been in slavery. And the Most High God promised that when the blessing, or when the curse had come upon us, well, the blessings and the curses, that after the prophecies have been fulfilled, that he would gather us and bring us home. Keep going, brother.
Verse 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Now, when it talks about in verse 4, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of the earth, you got to understand blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians here in the Western Hemisphere. Because see, when you look at our chart, we only account for the Israelites who are in North and South America and in Canada. But the Israelites, we are a very varied and, how should I say it? We are a speckled bird, as the Bible puts it. We come in all shapes and sizes. We come in all colors. And we are known by many names. Here in the hemisphere of America, we have the monikers Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Black denoting a color or ignorance, evil. And then you have Hispanic meaning property of Spain. You got time for the Bible, brother? Yep. God gonna say I'm on the phone when you need help. But anyway, you got Hispanic meaning property of Spain. And then you've got Indian, Native Indian, meaning savage. Right? When the only people who were savage were the people who murdered the Native Indians to the tune of hundreds of millions. And not to forget our Reubenite brothers, they were called Seminole Indians, which means runaway savages. But see, we're scattered all over the earth. And I'm going to bring out some things today that's going to surprise you. When you look at who the Israelites might be over in Japan, the Ainu people. Or how about in China, the Manchu people. Or the Kunlun. They've gone by many names, right? But we're going to go into some of the areas that are lesser talked about, like Malaysia, right? Vietnam. Our people are all over those areas. See, if you can look up the people associated with the term Negrito, you'll find a lot of Israelites. You got time for the Bible today, brother? A couple minutes? I'll say it. Keep going, brother.
Verse 6. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
And again, that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing all the nations that took us into slavery slowly descend into obscurity, right? If you are aware of what happened with NATO this week, NATO, as it was in the past, is no longer. Donald Trump, along with America, has completely pulled out all support from Ukraine and from NATO, with the stipulation of, we will only help if you help us. And as everybody knows, NATO ain't got no ability to help militarily. Not to mention, they can't print the money that America prints, because America controls the world reserve currency. So they can't pay for anything either. So that means the whore has divorced herself from the beast. So we're seeing the prophecies play out. This brother's got something to read for you. Go ahead and get it, man.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 26. I said, I will scatter them into corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord hath not done all this. For all they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them.
Now, I had that brother read a mouthful for a reason, right? Because the Most High God scattered us with the intent of making us jealous of a people who are not a people. See, and when people read that, they don't understand that the Most High God made the nations, the heathen, the people who are ever reputed as nothing, to be able to call themselves something in the absence of the real Israelites. And we all know how that works. When we were children, if our parents left the house, who was the man of the house? Well, you were, because the authority of the house was gone. Well, if you look at the earth, we're the authority of the earth. And if we've been scattered and we are now known by the monikers that our oppressors put on us, and our history has been beaten out of us and then hidden from us, well, that means we're no longer the authority on the earth. So they'll take it upon themselves to pretend as if they're the authority. And that's exactly what's happening, right? But keep going, brother.
Verse 29. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them and the Lord had shut them up?
Now, that's all I need from Deuteronomy 32, but I want to fixate in real quick on verse 30. When it says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? How could one person chase 1,000 people? But if you understood who you were, Jake, men like Shamgar in the Bible, men like Samson, men like David, men like Elijah, Elijah didn't even have to move or even ball a fist. He called fire down from heaven to devour his enemies. See, the nations, the heathen, they used to tremble when they heard we were even in the area, let alone if we had a problem with it. But because we departed from our God, he shut up our abilities to defend ourselves, to maintain our sovereignty. See, one of the things that I want to remark on are the comic books that you read. See, one of the things that these comic book writers, most of you don't know about, is that they're all Jewish, or at least most of them, right? Men like Stan Lee. Stan Lee was a Jewish man. Same with George Lucas, Star Wars. The word Jedi means Judah. Most people don't understand all these things that you have an affinity to as an Israelite trying to be entertained. They're really just giving you back a defiled version of your own biblical text. When you look at somebody like Superman, his Hebrew name is literally Kal-El, meaning all power. And he derives his power from the sun. Well, who are called the children of the sun? No white man I've ever heard of. The children of the sun were the natives here in North America. But did you know we've also had that moniker all over the earth? See, the Manchu people were known for wearing cotton clothes and having their top portion exposed. And we had skin as black as lacquer. So we were extremely darkly melanated with conch coiled hair. Basically nappy hair. That's how they call it. Conch coil. Right? And you'll see that if you look, I believe his name is, he's the second emperor of the Qing dynasty, named Sun Zhang. Right? I might be saying his name wrong, but fuck it, I'm not Chinese, right? But anyway, when you look at the paintings of him, he has nappy hair, like a Negro. But you have to understand, Jake, not only has your homeland been stolen and occupied, your legacy and your heritage has been stolen and occupied. Can you get that for me in Luke real quick? Yeah, 21:24.
Luke chapter 21, verse 24.
Bring it out.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So Yahushua made a large prophecy, because it wasn't just us having to flee Jerusalem, right? It was also that our land would be occupied, and that it would be occupied until the time of the Gentiles was fulfilled. Now, we know the Gentiles have been in rulership basically since we fell out of power after the Hasmonean dynasty. Although we did rule in Europe for 1,000 years, we were not an undisputed rulership, right? You had the Ishmaelites, who were taking our people at the threat of the sword, forcing them to convert to Islam, which is where the Moors came from. And they were the ones who thwarted our attempts to retake the Holy Land with the Holy Crusades. Right? Our own people fought against us, by the way. But you also had our people being scattered to the Asian regions of the earth via the Silk Road slave trade. But I found out something today. You have the Indian Ocean slave trade, which encompasses all those things, where they were taking us from the southern and southeastern portions of Africa, and they were sending us to Arabia, and where we would go from Arabia and India all the way to China and Japan. So the sub-Saharan slave trade and the Silk Road slave trade go hand in hand, which is why we are scattered to all these lands. But we were already present in those lands as well. So you have to understand something. Can somebody get me Jeremiah 51 and 19 real quick? Right before that. You have to understand, as an Israelite, we are the former of all things.
Right.
If there's something that lasts and makes an impact on history, you bet your ass an Israelite is standing right there at the beginning of it. Everybody talks about Alexander the Greek. Nobody brings up Cletus the nigger. His right-hand man who served Alexander's father, Philip, as his right-hand man and general. They also don't bring up his wet nurse, Lannis, who was also an Israelite woman. We're omitted from history for a reason, and that's because we are the former of all things. Get it when you got it.
Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 19.
Bring it out.
The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things.
We are the former of all things. See, that's why if you want to see something that makes an impact on the world, You don't go to the white man at Berkeley or at Yale or at Cambridge. You go to the hood with Jake, where you see the father of necessity hard at work, and that's called poverty. You got time for the Bible, brother? No?
No, that's a tricky question. But I am kind of busy right now.
Okay, what you got going on, man?
That's too much.
Okay. Well, are you Mexican by chance?
No, I'm Albanian.
Albanian?
Yeah, Mexican Arab. That's why she like me so much.
I ain't never heard no chick talking about she likes Arabs or Albanians.
Mine too.
Where they at?
I'm not telling you that.
Okay.
On my shoes.
Do you know about the sub-Saharan slave trade?
What?
When the Arabs were taking our people into slavery and castrating them?
Yeah. Well, if I was alive, I would have back there, look. I'd my
Okay. Well,
What?
did you know you could do something today?
Huh?
You could do something today?
Which one am I saying wrong?
Can somebody get me, it's Isaiah 49:23?
Start fighting every Arab?
I'm sorry?
Start fighting every Arab?
Well, I mean, it's not a matter of fighting or even warfare.
Oh, exactly. The Bible and the... Okay.
But I have a question,
Oh,
because...
I have a question. Real
What's up?
So, David and Goliath and the dude with the 12 wives, where is that?
Say that again?
David and Goliath, I want that story, and then, fucking, oh, hold on. Where else? 12 wives. Lion's Den, right?
Well, I mean, you conflated a lot of things. So David and Goliath and 12 wives? What do you mean?
No, those are two separate.
I know. That's what I'm telling you. You brought them both up.
Yeah, I want
I mean, we're not going to give you the story of David and Goliath.
No.
Because why would?
Huh?
Like, I have a question. What does the story of David and Goliath have to do with Ishmaelites or Arabs?
Was that
Somebody give me Amos 3 and 7 real quick. You can drop that. You can drop that because I'm going to be honest. Somebody kissing my boots. I don't need that.
Kiss your boots.
Yep. Because if you're from a heathen nation took us into slavery, you could show that you're sorry by bending down and kissing our feet.
Well, you asked about the Bible if you wanted to learn something.
Yeah, and that's in the Bible. I was about to read that to you. See, again, are you Muslim by chance?
I'm Hispanic.
You just told me that you were Albanian and
That
Arab.
was a joke. It was a funny one.
Did you know they're going into slavery? What do you feel about that?
Right now?
Well, not right now. Well, very
I
soon.
did hear some shit about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But what do you feel about if Arab people had to go into slavery?
What the fuck?
You lost. Anyway, go ahead and just read it.
Like, I mean, you
Amos
care,
3 and 7.
you care to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I care,
just
no,
read,
I know,
just-
I know. I care to a certain extent.
Amos chapter 3, verse 7.
Yeah.
Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So we're trying to see if you are of the servants of God. Because if we're reading out of the Bible, or we're saying things that's biblically influenced and you just can't get it, you're probably not of our blood. Because the Most High God reveals his secret to his servants, the prophets, which are the Israelites.
Well, I said, that's why I said I wasn't from there.
So what's your father?
What?
Like, is your father Mexican? Is he Arab?
Fuck yeah, you have to mix it.
If he's Mexican, you're from the tribe of Issachar. Issachar in the Hebrew means he who was hired. That's why the Mexican man can work a 14-hour shift and then go party for 8 hours and then go right back to work like nothing happened. It's a special skill that the Mexican man has.
Yeah, and what, be a deadbeat?
And be a deadbeat?
And be a deadbeat and not do shit for his kids?
Give me a Deuteronomy
Hold me for
28:54.
that. Nah, I don't know.
But you got to understand something. That's a curse that the Israelites are under. Was your father not in your life, brother?
Yeah.
That's common among the Israelites. I'm going to show you why. Go ahead and read it.
They all been knocked at 16 something. You said more than one.
Just hold on.
It's Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brothers, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave,
Say that last sentence again.
which he shall leave.
So that's a curse that the real Israelites are under. Our fathers desert us as children. They leave our mothers. See, I understand. It probably doesn't make you feel bad.
90%. 100%, bro. Yes, I agree. But I'm one of the ones that ain't like that.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you are.
No. I don't think nothing personal. This is like how I speak. It sounds like hostility, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying you're hostile.
I'm just saying.
But brother, I'm just trying to tell you
Yeah.
that you growing up without a father, that's common between us.
Yeah.
That's something that happens to the Israelites. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to see if you are an Israelite. Because if you're an Israelite, brother, who do you think this Bible belongs to?
Ain't that the Bible?
It is the Bible, but who was it written to? Get it. Go ahead and get it.
I don't
Read it.
know.
This book of Romans chapter 3 verse
Not like
1.
what I'm saying.
What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Verse 2. Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Committed on the what? Committed-
Oracles of God.
So the oracles of God were given to the Israelites. See, that's why this book should resonate with you if you're an Israelite. Us telling you that you not having your father is a curse, that should open up all types of doors and go, oh, that's why this happened, or that happened. Because do you have a relationship with your father at all right now?
No.
No?
But based off, I don't think it's based off of curse.
Then what is it then? Were our people always like this?
Everybody's different in their own way.
That's true. But there are things that
Everybody's unique in their own
but
way.
there are things that affected all of us. What affected us and broke up our families?
Yeah.
Universal here in America.
But not everybody the same. Act out. Disabled, some kids ADHD, some kids ADD, ODD.
That's made up by white folks, man. I'm gonna tell you, if your dad's in the house, you don't have ADD. Ass whoopings fix ADD.
Right, that's right.
I got ADHD.
Ass whoopings fix that.
No, they don't. That's
I'm
what-
living proof it
No,
does.
no.
I'm living proof.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good one. Like that you said that because I'm gonna still act up.
But you say you didn't have your dad in your life.
I mean, my mama loved me.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
After you
what?
turn 12, your mama
He
can't
beat-
even hurt you.
Yeah,
anymore.
he beat me until like 15 years old, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? So 13 or 15.
But that's your mom who beat you, right?
Nigga, my dad, he's dead. My bad. Oh, shit.
No, you good.
So, man, my daddy was holding me by one arm, beating my ass up for 30 minutes.
So was your dad there or not?
Half, but what? Oh, that's all he was doing?
So he was still there. Now this is to my camera.
I wish he
This
was-
is something that happens to blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians as well. Everybody talks down on us, even when we're doing our job. Your dad's supposed to beat your ass. Somebody give me Hebrews 12:5.
That's why I beat his ass then.
And I'm gonna tell you, you should die for that. If you put
Yeah,
your hand
right.
on your father in anger, you should die for that.
I hope he kills his spirit.
And I'm gonna tell you, you walking around like you already living dead. Are you homeless, brother?
No?
Well, what's going on? You look like things ain't going too right for you. We cut deep over here.
Because
Because you said that with
bad
pride.
situation.
You said that with pride that you put hands on your father. You should not be proud of that.
Fuck him.
And I'm going to tell you, and guess what God says to you? Fuck you. That's why you walking around here looking crazy. Go ahead and read that.
It's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Keep going.
Yeah, keep
For
going.
whom the Lord loveth he chasteneth.
So who God loves, he penalizes. He chastens. He disciplines. Keep going.
And scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons.
So God deals with us like a father deals with a son. If you don't chasten your child and cause them to feel pain for their mistakes, then you end up like you are right now, brother, walking around thinking that everything is smoke.
No, don't get it twisted. Like, I beat my kids to a certain extent. And then there's a phrase of that where they're gonna not just eat that shit. They're not gonna still let you see nobody whoop them or what. When you talk to them, that's gonna work out for so long. After that, a fucking like a good ass whooping is bad as like 6 months, 3 months. And I can tell you that 'cause I got 7, 5.
But you got to keep doing it. Hey, brother, can you?
I did that. I was there for 7 years. That's what I'm saying. Like, any man that hit a woman or my sister, fuck him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what happened. I'm gonna stick up for my mother and sister because my mama always been there for me and shit. Nothing less.
So your father wasn't there for you when he disciplined you?
He ain't buy me what just to whip my ass.
That probably kept you out of prison. You know, a lot of people are
Oh,
sitting.
that's fed up.
What'd you go in for, brother?
Super rehabilitation for it.
Now, if your father were whooping your ass all the way through 18, do you think you would be running the streets, being involved with burglaries and things of that nature?
Man, shit, I'll probably mop his ass and take his shit. Make him start over.
I'm gonna tell you, that's why you're at where you're at, bro. That's why you're at where you're at. Go ahead and get
No,
it, man.
no, see what you're missing is though.
What this book of
I
Proverbs,
don't- no.
verse 3,
See, look, do
it's
that
like
again,
You need to,
Chapter
you need to
3,
listen, man.
verse 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord.
Did you hear that part?
No, start over.
Start over.
My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord.
You don't hate it when your father disciplines you, because God disciplines you by putting you in prison. Give me Isaiah 42 and
Yeah, hold on.
22.
He ain't just beat my ass.
I know that.
You know what I'm saying?
What else did he do?
Left me at fucking his house for what, 12, 14 hours? No eating. Took my other two siblings out with the girl. She was mad at me. On some bogus ass shit. Asking for a bag of chips.
How old were you when that happened?
Shit, like fucking 13, 14?
13, 14.
Yeah.
Now, did you do something that was worthy of him being
No.
angry with you?
No.
What was he angry for?
What was some bogus female tendency ass shit?
Such as?
A lot of stuff with his girlfriend, and there was too many kids, and he basically chose another family over, or another fucking stupid little thought over me.
Okay. If that happened, brother, I'm sorry.
And-
But you gotta
no,
understand.
Hey, don't be sorry, bro. Like,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
like, you know what I'm saying? You're not a sorry person. But at the same time, it's like, and the dad I am, shit, I'm teach my sons right.
That's good.
And I whoop their ass, yes, but I don't. There's gonna be an end to whooping their ass at a certain point in time. So I would let them know I'm gonna whoop their ass.
Now, I have a
So they
question.
can learn.
Do you want forgiveness from God for your sins? For the things you've done wrong? You want mercy from God, right?
Whatever happens, happens, bro.
I'm going to tell you, you should want mercy from God, brother. For real. But finish out what you got, man.
Verse 11. Neither be weary of his correction. Verse 12. For whom the Lord loveth, he corrected, even as a father the son in whom he delighted.
So, who the Most High God loves, he corrects. Just like a father correcting his children. I understand as men, as boys, we get it worse than our siblings, our sisters, right? And more times than not, your father's going to discipline you because are you the oldest? Youngest? Middle child? Middle?
I'm middle, my brother's the youngest.
You're the oldest man. You're the oldest son. You're the beginning of his strength.
You know, I was my biggest son, my goddamn mama and my goddamn sister. First.
I get it. Your father's not perfect, brother. But the same mercy you want from God, you got to get that to your dad. Because I'm going to tell you, you're going to make mistakes for your kids. Can you imagine your kids coming up to us telling us how bad you are, how terrible you are, and that they put hands on you and that they're proud of it?
It won't ever happen. Because I know how to be a daddy. I give my kids everything that I didn't receive as a child.
Okay, I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
But what if they were cursing your name behind your back and you found out about it?
But it was yours on. If they're old enough.
You would feel bad about it. Exactly. So give the same mercy to your father that you want. And this is to my camera, and this is also for you. That fire truck comes by here every Saturday. We see it nonstop. And it's probably going to go to that building to pick up somebody who's dead. You need to understand something. God deals directly in killing people. Putting your hands on your parents, that's punishable by death. Now, I understand you might not have known that, but brother, you got to let that go.
No, even if I found out right now. That I found out right now.
But you got to let that go, man. You shouldn't be proud of that. Because he's still your father. And if he's a Mexican, man, he's the reason why you're an Israelite. Get what you got,
I
man.
know I changed a lot. So it don't even.
That's good.
All this is like cash and fuck.
That's good. That's good, man. You should change. But listen to this.
It's Isaiah 42, verse 22.
Bring it out.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth. for a spoil, and none said, restore.
So, the real Israelites are hid in prison houses, right? Now, you said you went to prison for burglary when you were in your teenage years, right? How old were you when you went to prison?
Well, I don't know. Now it's on record. Two burglary vehicles like in 2017, and two burglary habitation force. What, last year?
And how old are you?
I'm like 9 months in.
How
4
old
years
are you?
probation.
How old are you?
27.
You're 27. So basically coming right out of your teenage years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, if your father was still there disciplining you, brother, you wouldn't have been in the streets. You wouldn't have been in the streets, man. You should be thanking your father that he put hands on you to try to correct you, man. He wasn't always right, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is he did his best.
Maybe I should put hands on him for trying to be better dad.
Sorry?
Maybe I should have put hands on him more so he could be a better dad.
Put hands on him more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man, God gonna make you eat them words. You gonna regret that. You gonna regret that. Hold on. I got something for you, man. Hold on.
Because at the
Child's
same
place
time,
to correct the parents.
Yeah, it's not your place to correct your parents, man. It ain't.
and no matter what situation.
Correct.
Hell no.
Your father wasn't raping you. He
Hey.
wasn't pimping you out.
But if a daddy was doing that,
Were you eating every day?
fuck no.
That one time.
No, more times. What you think? My mama was working nights. She's supposed to feed us. We had days without eating. 2 days, 3 days. You want me to not eat for 7, like God in the Bible? For it to matter to you?
I'm gonna tell you, man, if your father was starving you on purpose, that's a cruel punishment. And if that's the case, you still gotta forgive your father.
Would you do that to your kids?
Whether I would or wouldn't, I would still want forgiveness.
Of what? Beating his ass?
Both. If I put hands on my father, I want forgiveness from God for that. But if I abuse my children, I also want forgiveness for abusing my children. Because I'm gonna tell you, have you actually sat down with your father as a grown man and talked to him about this?
Yeah.
And what'd he say?
Well, you shouldn't be acting stupid. I slapped the fuck out of him right then and there. That's how it started.
When he said you shouldn't have been acting stupid, what did he say you were doing that he's called stupid?
Fucking playing with all 30 of my damn cousins at my grandma's house.
And what did he tell you not to do? Exactly. He
Yeah.
probably told you to do something else. You wanted to do your own
We're
thing.
outside though.
It don't matter. If your father tells you to do something, you do it.
I want that nigga to make me though.
And he did make you.
I still went outside and played.
And guess what? You didn't eat for 3 days. I bet your tune changed then, didn't it?
It's okay, you already paid back.
So we gonna read you this one thing, and then we gonna go ahead and go back to what we doing.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm good. Look, hey, out of respect, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you good. Give me 1 second.
Hey, can I make a phone call though real quick?
Not with my phone,
Why?
because you said you proudly put your hands on your daddy. I don't want you touching my shit.
Daddy.
Give me Proverbs 29.
My daddy
and verse
touched
1.
me over too.
And this is to my camera. To all you fathers out there, man, I appreciate you. Because being a father, especially if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, it is an unappreciated job. Your children grow up to talk shit about you and say how much they hate you, even though they still walking around with all their limbs and a sound mind. Go ahead and get it when you got it, man.
And he bogus because
The book of
for 7
Proverbs,
years
chapter
I've been.
29, verse 1.
Bring it out.
I'm gonna say
He
something.
that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy.
Did you hear what he said?
Not the last part.
Read it again.
He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy.
So somebody who's constantly being corrected, eventually you get a correction that's so severe, it destroys you.
They say he was correcting me.
Well, you said he corrected you for doing exactly what he told you not to do. You said you were playing with your cousins. He said not to. You wanted to do
it.
it.
The times that nigga wouldn't be there for a week because he had another marriage. And then on top of that, he come home and beat my ass for not fucking being in the shower an hour before bedtime.
Oh, for not listening.
Huh?
Oh, for
that
not
was
listening.
Different times.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Not listening another time.
No, because my sister got in, my mama take my brother a shower, and then I will go. because I always needed help doing schoolwork.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
Bro, look, nigga, look. I was a daddy for 7 years.
Yeah.
I was a daddy for 7 years. The first two, they're stepchildren.
Okay.
The other three are biological. But even if my stepkids call me, whatever they need, I'm answering.
Okay.
And even them, I treated them just as equal as I treated my kids.
Okay. What's that got to do with your dad?
I gave my kids everything that he didn't give me. I tried to go to work with him. 18. We're working on the 18-wheelers. He showed me one time. Oh, okay.
What age were you when y'all were working on 18 wheelers? Was this after you
16.
Was this after you beat your dad up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your dad's still trying to get you employed, huh? What an awful father.
No. I've been telling him.
No, you
He's
gotta
trying to give me a
understand something,
job.
brother. You don't tell your father shit. That's your dad.
After he said he was
No.
gonna do it.
And see, you're trying to qualify his position as your father. God appointed him as your father. You don't understand that.
He said, Mijo, I'm gonna give you this truck on your birthday. Whatever. I said, Dad, I can't even drive yet. He's like, okay, I'm gonna start teaching you. Nigga ain't even fucking. The nigga show up 3 hours later.
Did he give you the truck?
Fuck no. He sold that shit
Why?
because he felt like it.
So I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot to this that's not there. Because it doesn't even make sense. Why would he come to you and go, I'm gonna give you a truck, I'm gonna teach you, and then he just turns around and sells it? So I'm gonna tell you, my parents, they say, hey, I'm gonna give you a Sega Genesis. Me and my brother fuck up, and then they sell it or take it back to the store.
Not
What you
all
got?
people. Not all people are the same.
This book of
though.
Sirach,
No, y'all said no,
chapter
that's
20, verse 1.
I gotta go.
There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, and he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt.
So you should be open to being corrected.
I could get constructive criticism very well.
Okay.
Very well. My communication skills is good. My understanding skills, I'm working on understanding and accepting.
That's good,
But,
brother.
like,
Verse
I can't
3.
get rid of that to my daddy though.
How good is it?
Oh, listen.
How good is it when thou art reproved to show repentance?
Say that part again.
To show repentance.
No, the whole sentence.
How good is it when thou art reproved to show repentance?
When you're corrected, brother, you should be willing to repent. I'm not saying you could go back and take away the strife between you and your father, but holding on to it and moving forward with it while being proud to have put your hands on your father, that is not the way. That is not the way. And how do you have a son?
Yeah.
How old is he?
65.
You don't think that when they get older, y'all are gonna have contention?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what if your son beats you up?
I'm running shit back.
So what should your dad do right now? He should run that shit back, right?
Yeah.
And as an old man where he can't even put hands on you, he's gonna have to even the odds. So that means he needs to get a gun and come see his son,
I
right?
put on a fucking 8-pound glove.
No, but brother, what I'm trying to say.
I just step on them.
But brother, what I'm saying is violence ain't the answer, brother. Forgive your father. I know it's hard, brother.
No. That's how I see him. He needs to forgive my mom first. I mean, my mom, yeah. He needs to forgive my mom first, and my sister, and my brother.
I'm gonna tell you, man, you can't recommend what to do
Tell that
for
nigga
your
what the
father,
fuck
man.
he's gonna listen.
But brother, you're welcome to stay and listen to us preach the Bible. We gonna go back to it.
I'm not, you're good, but I just, that's why I told you, like, I ain't ready for,
Okay. Thou sayest, man.
not that specifically, but like, I don't know what it is, bro.
Yeah.
I want you more than concerned.
Yeah, go ahead, talk to him.
Hey, brother, real quick. I can kind of relate to you a little bit. My mother, I grew up with my mother until I was like 14, and then I moved with my father later on. But while I was with my mother, she was married with her ex-husband, and he wasn't no good father, stepfather. He wasn't taking care of his duties, and I hated him. And I eventually, that anger kind of grew into a hatred, and over 10 plus years. So I got to a point to where I didn't want to see him. I ain't want nobody to say his name. I ain't care about him at all. and I allowed my hatred to make me not want to deal with my mother completely because she kept going back to him. But eventually, when I started getting into the scriptures, I started reading stuff like this. It was in my heart to like go ahead and forgive him. So, long story short, I got put in a situation where I had to forgive him, and I was like, "Hey man, I forgive you for being a deadbeat father, not doing your duties as a husband or whatever." I pretty much just let it go, and in that moment, I just like bursted out crying. I couldn't control it, you know. I'm not the type of person that cries. It just came out. I was crying for like 10 minutes. After that, you know, fast forward, now me and him, we able to chop it up. I'm able to talk to him because we ain't never had no good conversation.
Man, there's a good difference after that happened.
Yeah, that was like the first step. I'm not gonna say everything was good. After that, I had to heal a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, build myself up. And now I'm able to talk to him. I call him my brother. You know, Most High, He healed me from that. Because when you have that hatred in your heart, that is it's like a trauma.
Like speak, think negative, you get
And it messes you up mentally. But when the first step is to like His scriptures say, you know, forgive them, you know, whatever, and then later on things will be okay. You can move on. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's not healthy.
We got a watermelon.
But it's not good to have that hate.
I know it, but I just it's my possibility of like.
You believe in God, though, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you your mission before you leave. Somebody give me Ecclesiastes 12:13. Because all we're out here to let you know, brother, is as a man of God, as an Israelite.
I just write it on paper. Write it on paper. Only chocolate back to school. I gotta go to
Okay, yeah, go ahead and read it though.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13.
Look it up.
Who will pity a charmer that is bitten?
No, that's Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes.
Do not do that a lot.
No, you good, brother. You good. I was like, man, what the fuck is that? Yeah, because we just want to let you know, man, this is what God expects of His people, right? Because that's not Jesus Christ, right? That's a white man known as Cesare Borgia, who's impersonating Christ. The real Christ is a darkly melanated black man, as it says in Revelations 1:14. But listen to this.
Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13.
Bring it out.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
And one of the commandments, one of the 10 commandments, is to honor thy mother and thy father. It doesn't give the stipulation of if they do right by you. Because it's not, even if your parents don't treat you kindly, God will requite the kindness that you need.
Later.
Right? Go ahead and get it.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21.
Get out, sister. Get out. Get out. Damn. Get out. Yeah, for everybody.
This book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 14. It's like verse 15. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. Verse 17. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
You get that? So to smite means to strike.
Yeah.
So if you strike your mother and your father, you should be put to death for that. If you curse your mother and your father, you should be put to death for that. I'm not wishing death on you, brother. I'm just telling you according to the Bible.
And it's fully understandable.
Come on, go ahead and get it.
Verse 12. It's like this book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
So if you want to have a prosperous life, brother, you're going to have to honor your mother and your father. You might have to go back and do some real therapy with your parents. Nobody's saying it's going to be easy, man. My wife, her relationship with her mother, that shit rough, man. When I hear the shit that's going on between her and her mama, I don't even want to say nothing to be so bad. But at the same time, though, I can't tell her to curse her mother. I can't tell her, hey, go put hands on your mom.
Yeah.
Because that would make me just as guilty as her.
I've been trying to talk to
Keep trying, brother.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm gonna tell you, keep trying. Brother, I'm gonna tell you, if you had somebody driving or riding a bike at 10 miles an hour, and they said, if you can jog next to me for an hour, I'll give you a bag of $1 million. What would you do? You'd be running next to that bike like you were fucking Jesse Owens. You be the new Usain Bolt, Mexican version. You see what I'm saying?
I,
You would try your best.
that's like,
Hey, we try to stay away from that shit. I'm sorry, what'd you say, brother?
I'll try to keep up. If I don't keep up, then
Yeah, you're gonna do what you can, right?
no, yeah.
To get that money. Well, you want to get the love and the respect from your parents. Treat it like that bag of money, brother. Keep trying. I can tell you a good person.
I'm trying to change my ways. Like,
I know. I see it, brother. I see it. We read in the Bible that the real Israelites are hidden in prison houses. We got a lot of shit on our plate. But the one thing that you need to do, brother, is don't walk around with that hole in your heart where your parents are. You don't see your parents as your parents. You see them as an adversary. Let that go and forgive, brother. And pray to God. Do you know God's real name?
Allah, right?
Uh-oh.
Greatest of all. It's Allah.
No, Allah means power.
No,
That's all Allah means.
But God, there's Jesus.
So God's real name is Yahweh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Yahweh. That's his real name. And Jesus' name ain't Jesus. It's Yahweh Shai.
Right.
So when you pray to God, you got to call him by his real name if you're an Israelite. Because see, his name is dreadful to the heathen, as it says in Malachi. But if you're an Israelite, you should have no problem facing the east and raising your hands and taking your shoes off and praying to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai that he help you with your father.
Oh, so that's the. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the Arabs. I ain't doing that.
No, I'm
Eating curry.
But here's the thing though, facing the east, that's our practice. The Arabs took that from us.
Where y'all from?
Shit, we from all over, brother. Check this out, man. But if you got any other questions, we teach right at this spot every Saturday from about 2 p.m. to about 5 p.m. All right, what's your name, man?
Jacob.
Jacob?
Jacob.
Man, you just a big old mystery, man. I can't plot this brother out at all,
I
man.
was gonna lie though. I should have been like Clifford, like the big dog.
I'm Haya L, man.
Huh?
Haya L, that's my name. All right, Jacob.
Yeah. All right. Well, shit. We'll get some fish tomorrow. So.
All right, brother. Be
No, I'm
safe
just
out here,
saying,
man. Be safe out here, brother. All right. You funny, man. I'm gonna read something real quick because I like reading. 'Cause I rarely get to read now, so I don't get to read my favorite while my brothers are leaving. I still don't know if you're Israelite or not. But either way, this is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6.
Bring it out.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's right.
So that brother, I'm gonna tell you, he got a lot of salt, but I'm still not sure. You know what I'm saying? At the end when he said Allah, I'm like, nigga, are you trolling? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, are you trolling? But here's the thing, I think he was trolling some of the time. But our people gotta realize, man, it's serious out here. Yeah, and he sounded like he was from Houston. That's what made me think he was an Israelite, right? But that's something that Jay got to realize, man. We under curses. And yeah, I know sometimes your mama and your daddy don't do right by you, but they under the same curses you under. And everybody don't handle it the same. And not to mention, they got to answer for those crimes of not taking care of their children. Because what does the Bible say about a father who don't provide for his children and his wife? He's worse than an infidel. So the Most High God isn't going to be lenient on a derelict father. Same with a derelict mother. But it's not our responsibility as their children to reprove them. That's God's position. So let God do his work. But anyway, with that said, let's get back to this lesson. You were at Luke 21:24. Yeah, buddy. And then you got Baruch 3. Of course his name was Jacob. Of course. It's like you cannot make it up. Of course. Yeah, get it.
Luke chapter 21, verse 24.
Bring it up.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
And as I said before that brother walked up, That time of fulfillment is coming up on us now. That's why you're seeing all the upheaval in the so-called Middle East. That's why you're seeing Amalek have to give an account for why the real Jews left black but came back white. And that was a quote from the, I believe, 1952 president of Egypt, Gamal Abdul Nasser, who said that the real Jews left black and came back white. We will never accept you. There will never be peace. In other words, as long as you petty pretenders are here, we always gonna have smoke for it. And that's been the case. But we see that Yahushua made that prophecy and it was very accurate. But in the meantime, where have we been while our land has been occupied? Go ahead and get it, brother.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8.
Bring it up.
Behold,
Can you give me some
we
rock
are
on
yet
table?
this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the land, Lord our God.
So we've been in slavery. We've been in the hands of our adversaries being subjected to payments and tribute. And it's exactly that way this day. Because we all pay taxes. When you get paid in America, they tax you. When you purchase goods and services, they tax you. When you own a home, you also pay property tax. Right? When your children want to go to school in a certain district, you pay taxes for that. You pay taxes for everything here. Taxes on taxes. Right? So we are in the hands of our enemies and we're scattered about the earth to this day. So we should be waiting with bated breath for our Messiah to come back. But our people, they don't see our captivity as something to be released from because they've become accustomed to their captivity. But I got news for you, Jay. Whether you're ready to go or not, the bus is about to pull up. And if you don't get on it, your ass gonna die. But go ahead and get what I got for you.
Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10.
Bring it up.
Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
So I know some of y'all are thinking, well, why is this brother going here? Well, if the Israelites are your only family, and you're in the hand of your enemy, and your enemy is saying, come together, let's stand as one, well, should you stand with it? Should you join hands with it? Should you try to redeem America? Right? Because now the white man is saying all hands on deck, all patriots. Both black, white, Hispanic, everybody come help. But see, the Bible lets you know to never trust your enemy. And yes, the children of Edom are your enemies. Keep going, brother.
Verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
He what?
He stand up in thy place.
Keep going.
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat.
Now, that's what we're dealing with right now. Because if we're the real Israelites, who are those people in Israel today calling themselves Jews? But if you're familiar with the Hasmonean dynasty and John Hyrcanus, we set them by us, forced them to convert to Judaism, and then they sought to take our place. And they succeeded in doing so. See, again, I know a lot of people go, damn, y'all go over the same scriptures all the time. But that's because you Israelites learn slow. I'd love to go elsewhere if you niggas would learn. But keep going, brother.
And now, at the last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith.
Now, our people were pricked with betrayal because the primary slave owners here in the northern hemisphere were the Amalekites. Those who say they are Jews today. Those who comprise, I believe the figure is like over about like 90% of Ashkenazi Judaism, all come from the Jews that descend from Kalanimus. It's like 85 or 90%. It's a very high figure, right? But they were the ones who underwrote the slave trade, and they were a disproportionate amount of the slave owners. Whether it was in America, Canada, the Dutch Caribbean, down in Mexico through the Portuguese, because you got to remember, or the Spanish and Portuguese, you had the Sephardic Jews from Spain after Amalek set up shop there. So we were pricked by the betrayal of our enemy after they took our place and they put us in slavery. Keep going, brother.
Verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or as any such as come nigh wild beasts?
And nobody feels sorry for you, Jay, because the world already knew that they were your enemies and you trusted them anyway. Hell, we had the Moors cooperating with the I can't say that because it's gonna get the fucking video, man. All right, they were cooperating with the current Jewry of today, right, to come up against their own people in the name of Islam, and they allied themselves with those who came against or who were against the Tudors and the Stuarts. Right? Men like King James, the aristocracy of Europe, while we were in power. And after we were dealt with, they were expelled from Europe, finishing and culminating in 1619. Keep going, brother. No, actually, that's all I know. Yeah, that's all. Brother, what I got you? Yeah, you already know. Okay, cool. Can you go ahead and grab me Acts 2 and 5? Right? See, what I'm trying to illustrate here is that not only have they sought to take our place and succeeded in doing so, actually, before you get that, give me 2 Maccabees 3 and 48. They've succeeded in taking our place in our land and in the eyes of people as the chosen of God. But they've also sought to paint over our images in the Bible and have largely succeeded with the popularity that you see with white Jesus. Right? Otherwise known as Cesare Borgia. Shalom, okay? Come. That's exactly what I need. Breathe. Okay, cool. Go ahead and get that.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48.
Bring it out.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So not only has the so-called white man replaced us as the real Israelites, the real Jews, he's also sought to replace the image of the Son of God, the man that they call Jesus Christ, with his own likeness. And we see in 1 Maccabees 3 and 48 that they were already trying to paint themselves into the Bible. See, most of our people don't know that we used to paint pictures in our Bibles. That's why the earliest Bibles still in possession in Europe from the 1500s have pictures. And those pictures are often of black men and black women. But see, our enemies seek to do away with us as a people. And they've largely succeeded up until the present day when we've woken up to the heritage and our history of the Israelites, right? So this brother, Amon, is going to bring something out for you because our people dwell in every nation under heaven. See, it's not just the white man who has sought to take our image and our likeness and our heritage and history. It is all these heathen, the same heathen outlined in Psalms 83.
Acts chapter 2, verse 5.
Bring it out.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now, when this was known,
so our people dwell in every nation under heaven. See, that's why when we say that we were the rulers of Europe, people look at us funny. Because they go, well, you niggers were just in West Africa. That's impossible. Not understanding that we have dwelled in every nation.
Right.
We are the builders of every nation.
Right.
The heroes in every nation.
Right.
Hell, if you read back in Genesis where it says that the sons of God sired children with the women of the earth and they became giants among men. If you look at that word in Hebrew, that means famous, renowned. We were having children with all these heathen women and basically leaving and going our way. And see, if you leave a so-called black child in Japan, he's going to be a giant among men. You know why? Because he's an Israelite. Brother, you got time for the Bible today? A couple minutes? You ain't got time to talk to your brothers? The only ones out here saying Texas is Mexico and this is your land? The only people out here saying that shoving your people in cages is wrong? Branding you an alien on your own land is wrong? But I bet if I was a big booty white woman, you'd be over here trying to take me out, trying to get my number. Wouldn't leave me alone. See, again, I keep saying it. When you're trying to bid your people back to being nobility, they spit in your face. They turn the shoulder. But see, a servant is not greater than his master, because if they hated Yahushua, they gonna hate us too. And we're counting on it. Because we're gonna give our people their judgment. And that judgment is very, very close. But let's keep moving on, right? So, the Jews dwelt in every land under heaven. And as a result, we are scattered. So can somebody get me Psalms 106 and 24 through 42? It's going to be a long stay here, but there's a lot here to go over, right? Because the Most High God scattered us for a very defined reason. It was defined in Deuteronomy 32. It was defined in Baruch. It was defined in Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel. All the prophets keep talking about it, but Jake learned slow. 24 through 42. It's going to be a long stay.
Psalms 106, verse 24.
Bring it up.
Ye, they despise the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents, and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands.
So that was very, actually, to the point. It's restated. I was hoping we wouldn't cover that part. I forgot I was there, man. But that basically gives away the reason why we've been scattered. Because we keep murmuring, complaining, behaving like petulant children, and not trusting in the direction of the Lord. And we break his commandments. And as a result, he has scattered his people all over the earth and given them into the hands of their enemies.
Verse 28.
Bring it up.
They joined themselves also unto Baal-peor, and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague brake in upon them. They stood up, Phinehas, and executed judgment, and so the plague was stayed.
Now this is talking about an occurrence in the Old Testament when Phinehas impaled a coon and his heathen wife while they were in the middle of coitus in their tent. Now, typically, there's no need to get angry at a brother who is with a heathen wife. But when you're being reprimanded by God for literally raising children that are not familiar with your own ways because you're miscegenating with heathen women, probably not the best timing to be engaged in that behavior. So Phinehas basically rightfully executed judgment on 2 people that day. And he was celebrated for it. But keep going, brother.
Verse 31. And that was counted unto him for righteousness, unto all generations forevermore. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sakes.
So our people were complaining that they didn't have water. And they were threatening to stage a mutiny against Moses. And out of anger, Moses struck the rock. See, again, our people doing exactly what God told them not to do. And as a result, the Most High God, his anger is kindling and kindling until it finally overflows and his wrath falls upon us.
Verse 33. Because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. They did not destroy the nations, concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
This is talking about King, what's his name? Salaki. King Saul not destroying the Amalekites, right? He saved King Agag. And isn't it something that Agag is the father of the Amalekites to this day? Because they dwindled all the way to a chosen one, only to repopulate the earth and be a thorn in our side and a foot in our ass. But that's all because we don't keep God's commandments as they're given.
Verse 35. But were mingled among the heathen, and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood.
Now, I know some of y'all are going, well, we don't sacrifice our children today. How many of these celebrities walking around got a mysterious dead child? Somehow your child got hung from a cord that hangs off your treadmill, and she got hanged to death, and no one was there. Now, those of y'all who know about Mike Tyson, that's what happened to him. Some way, somehow, all these celebrities got a dead relative that died right before they became famous. Kanye West and his mama, right? Who? Michael Jordan and his dad. And they tried to attribute it to gambling debts, when your son is the most popular and well-paid athlete on the planet. Even if he had a sour relationship with his father, he couldn't throw a few shekels his dad's way to get the damn mob off of him so he wouldn't get killed for gambling debts. No, it's because we're sacrificing our loved ones to Moloch. And even if you're not serving one of these pagan idols of old, you serve an idol of new. See, those of y'all saying that you love Jesus, you're serving idols all the same. Because Yahushua is his real name. And his likeness is not of a so-called white man. If you're serving so-called God and not Yahweh, because see, the God of this country in America tells you don't have to keep the commandments. But Yahweh of the Bible says you have to keep the commandments. If you're curious, Mr. White Man, you're going into slavery.
That's right.
There you go. Don't pull no punches up here, because it's all about judgment. Righteous judgment. And you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen.
That's right.
Y'all got time to talk about the Bible today? That's a shame. See, again, I keep saying, the best and brightest of our men are given to the other nations, and it castrates them. Because how can you stand and talk with your brothers if your allegiance is to everyone, while your brother is saying judgment is for the heathen? See, again, we just went over how Phineas had to put to death a coon and some heathen woman. It is what it is. See, and that's exactly why you shouldn't be giving your sons over to the women of other nations. Because then you have a conflict of interest, and you can't stand for your own people. And you produce confused children who don't know who they are. Because see, the sad part is, when you have those Israelite children with white women, they want to be white in an environment that treasures and praises white people. And they shun, whether they're black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, they shun that aspect of themselves. It's a whole topic on TikTok and Facebook. Check it out sometime. Mulatto children regretting the fact that they don't know who they are or have a strong sense of self. But I'm here to tell you, if your father's black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you're an Israelite. You could put an end to the confusion today and return to your God and keep his commandments.
That's right.
But let's get back into this lesson.
Psalms 106, verse 39. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance.
So the Most High God finally got fed up enough to go, you know what? Get out. And not only did he kick us out of the land, he turned his face from us so that when we called upon him in the face of our enemies, we had no strength. And they were able to take us over. We've essentially been under the heel of our enemies since the fall of Solomon, really. And now with Solomon in his old age going off worshiping other gods, or allowing the worship of other gods, I should say, permitting the building of their temples and pagan, monasteries and all that. The kingdom split. Northern kingdom went into slavery. We held on for a little bit, but we started having wicked kings, and eventually we joined them, going right on down to Babylon. And we've been in slavery off and on ever since. But this was the final stop, y'all. That's why we're out here to let you know. Get right, keep the commandments.
Verse 41, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand.
This is talking about how we were put into slavery. See, again, the Most High God didn't throw any curveballs with the scriptures. he put it right down the middle. And he even sent us prophet after prophet. King David was literally the mightiest man on the planet, prophesying of the slavery that we would go through because of our obstinance toward the Most High God and our reluctance to keep his commandments. Y'all got time to talk about the Bible today? A couple minutes?
No, sir, we're on the rush. Sorry.
Really?
Yes, sir, we are.
So I got $50,000 if you got 5 minutes.
No,
No?
sorry.
Hey, at least he's consistent. I'll give him that.
In a rush.
You know what I'm saying? Because most of our people, they're like 50,000. Hold up. I can make time. Yeah, he probably looked at my fucking shoes and said, that nigga broke. He ain't got no damn 50 grand. What you talking about? But it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Because our people don't realize the same way you ain't got time is the same way God ain't got time. We keep it consistent. When I say we, I'm talking about the servants of God. The judgment is for everybody. Our people, the heathen. Whether you call yourself righteous or wicked, we got the medicine over here. It's right here in the Bible. Right? But we see that our enemies oppressed us, as they do to this day. But where are we going from here? Can somebody get me Ezekiel 7:24? Right? Because not only did our enemies oppress us, and we didn't learn, our enemies oppressed us, and we became even more hard-headed. Now, our people are so bold in their sin and transgressions that we have entire churches that are full of homosexuals talking about they're going to love God on their own terms. We have women leading congregations when the Bible says the woman is supposed to be silent and in order in the church.
Right.
But see, we're trying to serve God our own way, and as a result, we are in the hands of our enemies till this day. But let's see who God had to send as a result of us not listening.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, verse 24.
Bring it up.
Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled.
So the Most High God had to send the worst of the heathen. See, again, some of y'all think like, man, being in America ain't too bad. You wouldn't have been saying that during the 15 and 1600s. When the so-called white man used to hang you in front of his property just to let other slave owners know that we hang niggas over here. To remind all the other slaves on the property, don't you get any ideas about going free, because you'll end up just like them. See, we are under the heel of the worst of the heathen. See, and it shouldn't even be a surprise considering that what is the white man known for? Bestiality, homosexuality, and pedophilia. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm waiting for one of these white folks to say that ain't true. And out of all the years of me teaching, ain't had one. At least one that stuck to his guns, because I got plenty of evidence. Plenty of evidence. Because I'm going to tell you, and this brother just brought up a scoffer that we dealt with. He scoffed until I insinuated that he had some troubling things on his phone dealing with children. All of a sudden, it went from jokes and smiles, and I'm mocking you to I'm angry enough to basically try to get y'all caught up. But that's because when you turn the light on, every roach got to scatter. Even the most hardened, big roach got to scatter. Yeah, and then he called the cops, and the cops just said, hey, man, y'all good. Because the Most High God, when your ways please him, he makes your enemies to be at peace with you. Right? But these folks are known for those three tenets that I mentioned. More so the people over in Israel today. That's why the Hasidic Jews are now being outed all over the earth. Look at the group called Lev Tahor that was outed in Guatemala as a child trafficking organization. They're facing counts numbering about 140 counts of various crimes of abuse against children, from trafficking to assault. But that's a normal day in the existence of a so-called white man, because that's what he likes to do. Again, tell me I'm wrong. But who's holding what I wanted?
The book of Isaiah.
What have you hold? Yeah, get Hebrews 4 real quick. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16.
Bring it up.
But now they desire a better country, It is
No, no, it's 12 and 10.
12 and 10.
Or, 12, I'm sorry, Hebrews. Yeah, you're in 11, brother. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm about to say, that sounds, am I wrong? Yeah, it's 12 and 16. You can
All right, it's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16.
Bring it out.
Lest there be any fornicators or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
So the Bible lets you know straight up that there's no fornicator or profane person as Esau. See, most of y'all don't know who Esau is, and that's part of the problem. But that's also because the white man likes to change his own name and hide himself. He is Esau. Esau, Edom are who you called so-called white people today. That's why everywhere they go, they take charge through the use of the sword. What you got? Oh, here we go. So Interpol have arrested Yoel Alter, a 35-year-old Israeli who is a member of Lev Tahor, the world's largest child trafficking Jewish cult. Again, we ain't making it up. We're not making it up. And these are the people proclaiming to be the children of God, the chosen. But last time I checked, the chosen of God don't engage in pedophilia. They don't attack children and traffic them all over the earth. They don't dig tunnels under buildings and have soil mattresses in child high seats in tunnels. Those of y'all who are aware that happened a few years back up in New York, shout outs to you. Go on BitChute or Rumble for more information about that, because these Edomites, their tongues are falling upon themselves. They talk about it still to this day.
Ready?
Go on Reddit, yeah. Even Quora, which is basically, it seems like a Jewish, supported and run site. But even they tell on themselves, because the truth is plainly to be stated in these days in a world of lies. See, again, we have to identify the worst, most profane people on the planet are going to be doing the most profane and odious, repugnant, and disgusting things. And those are also the same people who had blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians in slavery. I'm talking about you, in case you got questions. That's why you burn up in the sun, because God don't love you. Didn't love you enough to give you melanin. And I support that decision. You should burn everywhere you go. Shit, I wish I would burn like them damn vampires in Blade. Just step outside and burn the fuck up. Be a good time. But go ahead and finish what you got, brother.
That was it? That was one more verse. Yeah. Yeah, 17.
It's verse 17. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
No.
So, you have these people constantly saying, well, we repented, we changed. But the Most High God, through his prophets, say that they can't change. It says that they can't repent. It says that they can't get forgiveness for these things. But even if you could, you'd have to stop doing it first. Right? That would be like standing in a judge's courtroom saying, I regret stealing a car, but you drove to court in a stolen car. That judge might not be sympathetic to your pleas for mercy. And I wouldn't blame him. But get what you got, brother.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, that thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
So, these people who took the real Israelites into slavery, they laid the yoke of oppression upon the men, the women, the children, and I'm not talking about teenagers either. I'm talking about 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, toddlers. They laid it upon the ancient those who are not even capable of working anymore. They would work us to death in their fields. Yes, I'm talking about you, Miss Ann and Mr. Cartwright. The Bible say y'all going into slavery, and it can't happen soon enough.
That's right.
Again, I always wonder when these white folks look at us like we're the ones who have an extra head. Like we're talking about some disembodied supervillain on another planet. Meanwhile, they're standing on stolen land. Meanwhile, they're shoving our people in cages at the border. See, a lot of y'all think they're just deporting Mexicans. They're deporting Haitians, Jamaicans, they're even deporting Africans. Because guess what? A lot of our people come from the west coast of Africa. And even if you come from somewhere like Uganda or South Africa, guess what? We're over there too. The Zanj, the Limba, the Kikuyu. We are everywhere, and everywhere we are, the white man treats us exactly like garbage. And that's why our Messiah is coming back to save us and not them. I wish I had a camera that would take a picture at all these confused faces that these white folks made. I would just like to make a collage to show to Yahushua when they get here. Maybe he'd laugh. I'd like to see it, because I know I laugh a lot, because their destruction is nigh and they deserve it.
Right.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Got time for the Bible today? Couple minutes? You know you a king walking the earth according to the Bible? You an Israelite? You too cool for school, brother? Again, man, but I said, if I was a big booty OnlyFans model up here saying, hey, man, I'll twerk on you for 5 minutes, just come join me. You be over here. You be over here. I know, eating it up. He said eating the booty like groceries. I know. Jake wicked, man. See, that's why all them people getting monkeypox all over their face. See, it was hard to say you wasn't doing nothing filthy when you had them boils and sores all over your fucking face. See, the Most High God will hit you where it hurt. And see, you Israelites learn slow. Because you won't keep God's commandments, God has to keep afflicting you and afflicting you and afflicting you. Somebody give me Isaiah 1 and 3, real quick.
I ain't gonna lie, I forgot all about that. That was just a few years back, right? Like 10 years ago, right?
Come. See, and I keep saying this too, and we don't even do it on purpose, because so much happens in the life of an Israelite, it's hard to keep it all in perspective. But a lot of times you forget about the afflictions God put on you. Because soon as one go away, here come another one. But get it when you got it, brother.
It's Isaiah 1, verse 3.
Yep.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
Hello, white people. See you in slavery. Hello. But see, our people don't know who their master is. They don't know who their God is. And as a result, they disobey him with an area of thought. But let's keep going, because this says a lot to describe the current modern day Israelite, who's happy and content in their ignorance.
Verse 4. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. Why should ye be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint.
So after the Most High God through Isaiah describes his children as wicked people, evildoers, and corrupters. See, anybody who's hung out with blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians who are doing wickedness, you know if you're not doing wickedness with them, you will not be hanging out with them very long. Their efforts to corrupt you will either succeed or you will be expelled. And the Most High God also says, why should you be stricken anymore? Why should I even punish you? Because you will revolt more and more. And that's the truth. This is the worst slavery we've ever been through. 500 years deep. And you still can't tell a black man to get out the strip club. You still can't tell the black woman to go home and raise her damn kids. You still can't tell a Hispanic man, hey, stop leaving your family. Stop running the streets. Uphold your covenant with God and keep his commandments. Yeah, go ahead and get it.
Get that. Please get that.
It's Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 7.
You know,
Yea, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of the Lord. How do ye say, we are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain.
So our people, we disavow the commandments of God so flagrantly that although it's hyperbolic speech, but it says the pen of the scribe is in vain. In other words, the Bible was written for nothing because you niggas ain't gonna read it. But yet the Bible was written to you and for you. See, it's a shame. We're trying to raise our voices at the cost of our lives and our livelihoods to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to let them know they are the real Israelites, the real children of God, and that your enemy, the white man, is going into slavery. And one day he's going to throw a thumbs up while he turns in his cotton. And I'm going to tell him, good job. Now take your ass back out there and get back to work.
That's right.
And make sure your wife is in my bed warming it up. Ain't going to do nothing to her.
Exactly. I'm about to say, you better clarify that.
Nope.
You know.
She just going to be there because I like my bed toasty when I get in it. And she better be freshly bathed too. Because they bathe like they damn oil schedule in their car. Maybe once a month. You can see the dirt on them. Oh, I know that's Elon. Yeah, the East Indian had us in the sub-Saharan slave trade. They treat the city and the Dalit people over there in India like trash. Not understanding that there's going to come a time where they're going to be working y'all to death while y'all make Slurpees and rugs. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. See, and they came over here to America. I don't know why y'all did that. Y'all should have stayed in India. I'm going to be real with you. I know the jobs are over here, but not for very long, because the way Donald Trump is acting, y'all ain't going to have no economic relations with India. Y'all going to be trapped over here. Shit.
The policies for the East Indians, not for us.
But
So that they can have all the tech jobs and stuff.
yeah, well, so I worked in the IT industry when Elon first got involved in the early 2000s, before they were the managers and owners of all these IT, subsidiaries, companies, all that. And that was when they didn't even speak English, right? But now that they're the managers and they own all these companies, they believe that they are a power player of business and commerce, not understanding that those things are nothing in the face of God. That's why you saw NATO basically have all its power stripped in less than a week. All it took was an outburst from Zelensky. See, those who saw that exchange between Donald Trump and Zelensky, that should have you shaking in your boots. He threatened that man directly to his face with World War III. Now, if you think America's going to maintain good economic relations with other countries while they're threatening another leader of a nation with World War III, I guess we'll see, right? But anyway, let's get back on this lesson. Slack here, y'all.
That's the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that says in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to me, shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments.
So the Most High God made the promise that though it might seem like the wicked are prospering, as they commend themselves and boast of their exploits against God's people, they shall suddenly be destroyed and made widows. They shall be made bereft of sons and daughters. See, that's why one of the things that's happening in so-called white society is that they're shooting blanks now. White men can't have children. See, the Most High God hitting you where it hurts, right in the family jewel. But see, if you look at the history of it, their sperm count have been falling since after World War II. Now, I wonder if that had anything to do with Zyklon B gas, mustard gas, Agent Orange, all of these things that they've been dumping on these nations as they commit atrocities and war crimes. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. But either way, the Most High God is seeing to it that you can't even have kids anymore. So much so that now Donald Trump is granting amnesty to the South Africans to come over here. And when I say South Africans, I'm not talking about the black ones. I'm talking about those Dutch people sitting on stolen land in South Africa. He's granting them asylum to come over here, the same way he granted Ukrainians to come over here, to bolster the numbers of you blonde-haired, blue-eyed parasites. But the reality is, if you put all the roaches together, it just makes it easier to get rid of them. And that's what God is about to do. He's about to burn down the Roach Motel. And it's going to be a good old time. But let's keep going.
Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know.
So the Most High God is making it plain that he has a bone to pick with these people, and that he is going to destroy them suddenly without remedy. See, again, it's because they become perverted by their own knowledge, perverted by the science that they've stolen from everyone else. Because when you look at the inventions and the frameworking of progressive thought here in America, most of that was built by Israelites. And it was hijacked by the ruling class, by our oppressor. And it has perverted them into believing that none else can stand beside them, not understanding that their enemies have already overtaken them. The nation of China has a mightier army and a mightier arsenal of weapons than the United States. Same with Russia. Arguably, same with Iran and India. You notice that's why America's very, very hesitant to deploy troops to the Middle East. And when they do, they're under strict guidelines on who to fire on and who not to fire on.
Right.
Because they know if they have smoke with the wrong nation, America just might get humiliated in front of everybody. And if you look at what happened in Ukraine, that's exactly what just happened. Russia just humiliated America. But then again, it's nothing new, because they got humiliated in Vietnam, they got humiliated in Korea, they got humiliated in Iran through the Contra scandal, they got humiliated by Cuba in the Bay of Pigs. America stayed getting washed up. I don't know why everybody talking about America can't be defeated. This bitch stay on her back. But anyway, let's keep rolling. I think that was it, right? Cool. All right, brother.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 7.
Bring it up.
But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored under the hand of the priests. Labored under the hand to be... What is it? To be high priest. Salaki, I thought it was one word. Promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and of another revenue 80 talents. Besides this, he prophesied and assigned 150 more, if he might have license to set up a place for exercise and for training up of youth in the fashion of the heathens, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus.
Now, again, I know some of y'all going, why are you reading this? If you understand what's going on in this chapter of 2 Maccabees 4, you would know that these are two coons. You've got Onias, somebody who's trying to basically establish peace between the Israelites and the Grecians, because he doesn't believe that we could stand up and get our independence. And his brother, Jason, who's trying to be the high priest, who's making promises of all sorts of resources to the king, and also promising the youth, or trying to get rights for the youth to be able to train at the gymnasiums after the customs of the heathen. Now, what were the customs of the heathen at that time during the Greeks if you went to a gymnasium? You were working out butt naked around other men. That was the custom of the heathen. And that's why when you go to the gym right now, Brother McCollum brought it out. He said that's why when you go to the gym now, everybody's half naked and nobody bats an eye. And now you'll see these same people walking around in skin-tight clothes, nothing left to the imagination, in the grocery store. Because this wickedness has pervaded over the whole earth. But in this chapter, our people were trying to take after the ways of the heathen. So much so, we were trying to volunteer our children, the youth of our people, to go work out with the heathen naked. Keep going, brother.
Got time for the Bible, sister?
Verse 10, which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion, and the royal privileges granted a special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of the Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the government which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law.
So not only was he trying to have our people go to the gymnasiums according to the custom of the heathen, but he disavowed the laws of our people as Israelites. Our government, how it's arranged, is according to the Bible, right? Especially the book of Leviticus, which goes into the nature of the priesthood. He put those tenets down in favor of erecting the heathen way of running a country or running a group of people. See, again, a lot of the minutiae of the Bible has a lot of important information. It describes the nature of how our people fell off. So you could see with specificity how our people become compromised and take on the ways of the heathen. But keep going, brother.
Verse 12. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Now, who are these people on the planet now who wear a hat to show that they're an Israelite or an Israeli? But that's a custom that you see here in 2 Maccabees chapter 4. That's not part of the law at all. That's a heathen custom that was dictated to our people. Now, these same Greeks would also be the people who were brought into our fold and made to convert to Judaism under the Hasmonean dynasty with Hyrcanus, I believe it's Hyrcanus II. I've heard of Hyrcanus, Hyrcanus. I can never say his name right, but I know that nigga's in the history book. Look it up. Right? But keep going, brother.
Verse 13. Now such was the height of Greek fashions, an increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest, that the high priest had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise after the game of discus called them forth.
Now, hold on. Stop at 17. No, 16. You're right.
But the concept of the sport of discus throwing is something that we still do today in the Olympics. See, all these sporting events, they're still done today. How you doing, brother? You got time for the Bible? 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Give us 2 minutes. Just two? Just two. All right, brother. All praise, all praises. Clap it up for the brother. All praise. So, brother, we're out here to let blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that we are the Israelites. How you doing, brother? Okay. Your father is Haitian? Was he a so-called, like, was he a white man, like a Spaniard? Conquistador? They're not the Israelites.
Well, our family has black, more, everything.
Cool, cool. But those people that you brought up, those are the Ashkenazi Jews of today. Somebody give me Revelations 2:9 real quick.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I just wanted to see. Well, my wife is actually. I'm gonna if I have time. Can you guys? Are you guys gonna be here later?
Yeah, we'll be here till about 5, probably 5.
Okay. So look up over there.
Oh, we know about that. We'll be here. All right, all praises. I'll read it while he's in the area. He'll hear it.
2 and 9.
Revelations chapter 2, verse 9.
Bring it out.
I know thy works, and the tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So we got people walking around believing that a certain group of people are Israelites and they're not, right? Now, I know I said this earlier, but I'll keep saying it, right? When we miscegenate with the heathen, we produce children that don't know who they are. But you are who your father is. And if your father is a so-called white man, you are a white man from the tribe of Esau. So a lot of times we'll have people hanging out in our group and they'll be talking about, oh, I'm black because my mom is black. No, you're not. You are what your father is. Is that him right there on the right? Yeah, I get that. Okay. Did you know that fake Jews wrote the speeches for Dr. Martin Luther King? And he was surrounded by them. If that's who you come from, you're not an Israelite.
Well, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll definitely talk. Because that's why Dr. Martin Luther King said in the twilight of his career, I led my people into a burning house. He realized that those petty pretenders pretending to be Israelis, they had lied and integrated our people into a society that had nothing but hate for them. That's why the moment we integrated, we lost all of our businesses. We used to have our own hospitals, our own public transportation, our own grocery stores, etc., etc. And the first thing to go was the autonomy of the economy for blacks and Hispanics when we integrated. Because it wasn't just black people who integrated. The Mexican and Puerto Rican man integrated alongside us. And we've been paying for it ever since. And ain't it something that he says one of those people are his forefathers, and then he brings out Martin Luther King. You can't make this shit up. Because the fake Jew will stand here and tell you we should all come together because of Martin Luther King. But they don't expect you to read books. And they damn sure don't expect you to see how Dr. Martin Luther King was killed. Because the sniper shot is not what killed him. He was killed later on in the hospital when they suffocated him in his hospital bed. But see, again, if you don't read, especially if you don't read the declassified documents released by the American government, which talks about how Dr. Martin Luther King was killed, and the settlement which was given unto his wife, Coretta Scott King, after his death. If you don't read those things, you will be ignorant of everything that is happening around you, especially concerning the civil rights movement. And it wasn't just Dr. Martin Luther King who died during the civil rights movement. You had a handful of people. You had Medgar Evers. Right. Who was that brother from the Caribbean? What's his name? The Jamaican brother. Oh, man, what is his name? I know. I can see him in my eye.
Ali Selassie.
No.
They reported him and tried to get everybody to go back.
Oh, you talking about Marcus Garvey?
Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, who tried to get black folks on a boat to take them back to Africa.
Yeah, Pan-Africanism.
And the U.S. Coast Guard came and stopped them and said, get y'all black asses back on that land and get back to work. You see what I'm saying? All this go back to Africa, they don't mean that shit, because the moment you try to go, they gonna stop. Come on.
They got what is it? I think it's on Netflix. It's either Netflix, Hulu, or something. A new documentary with Samuel L. Jackson talking about why Africa don't want the blacks back.
I'm gonna tell you,
I ain't watched it yet, but I mean, it's intriguing. I gotta check it out.
we should watch it, right? And what the brother's talking about is a documentary with Samuel L. Jackson saying why Africans don't want blacks over there. I'm gonna tell you, them Hamites, they would love for us to come back as slaves. Because they ain't done shit with their country ever since we left. All them pyramids they talk about in Egypt, where the rest of them at? I thought the people who built them were the Egyptians. But let me guess, the real Egyptians aren't in Egypt right now. The people in Egypt today are Ishmaelites, pretending to be Egyptians. The real Egyptians are down in the Sudan, sticking their head in cow asses, drinking cow piss. Oh, I'm not lying. Look it up. Look it up. I wish I were lying. I wish I were. Look it up. Those tribes down in the Sudan and how they basically worship the cow. But see, they would love for us to come back and declare our citizenship with them just so that they can abuse us again. Yeah, come on. That is who we learned it from. You finding it? It's Sudan. I told there. Look, the Mundi tribe in South Sudan. Damn, I clicked on it. Hold on. So they bathe in cow urine. Now go back to the caption. There you go. So the Mundi tribe in South Sudan showers with cow pee, covers their bodies in ashes, and it has more to it. But I'm not lying. I wish I were lying. The disgusting things that these heathen do. That's why the Most High God said to separate from them. That's why you are above all people, Jake. It's not just because you're stronger and faster. Your ways are more refined. It's not naturally in a black or Hispanic or Native Indian man to want to bugger children. See, I had to coin a British term because the censors don't pick that up here in America, right? Buggery is a assault term, right? That the white man loves to do to children. You don't have to convince a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian more times than not to not do those things. You don't have to tell them, hey,